My question is, why is reading easier when you're not in school? I just got done reading Yellowface by R F Kuang. Kuang? R F Kuang. I hope I'm saying her name right, but I'm committing to that pronunciation. It's about this author, June Hayward. She is friends with another author, Athena Liu, and Athena is amazing in the industry. She is spectacular. She has many awards and much critical acclaim. So one day, her and June are hanging out, June and Athena, in Athena's apartment, in her fancy apartment, drinking fancy alcohol. June sees Athena's latest work. A freak accident happens, and Athena dies. And June decides to take her unfinished manuscript, and after adding to it, taking from it, editing it, she decides to publish it as her own. In her mind, as why shouldn't Athena's work, the work of her best friend, live on? I think that's a noble cause if she actually published it with Athena's name. And June gets really famous off of it. She finally gets her big break that she's been looking for. Athena has had this literary stardom empire since college, and June is giving very much jealous. Oh, I even forgot to say. So, June is a white woman, and Athena is a Chinese American woman. I hope you guys could pick that up by their names, but it's very important. We follow June and what happens after she publishes the novel called The Last Front about Chinese labor workers. The book is not bad, but June is bad. June is so cringe, and because we're hanging out with June the entire time, it's to me it was terrible. Like it was a front row seat to secondhand embarrassment. It was funny, but in the way that secondhand embarrassment is funny. It was really rough sometimes, and it's just ugh. June, why would you do that? Why would you say that? Why would you say I voted for Biden? The book asks who can tell which stories? And I think that's a really good question, but I don't think the book gives an answer. And I think you should be able to tell any story, but also there's a way to be respectful about it. And I think if you're telling a story about a demographic that you're not a part of, you should be open to listening to that demographic and what they have to say about your work. You got to come correct about it. The Last Front, to me, it felt more like historical fiction and not a docu documentary. Damn, what's the word for a documentary that's a book? I mean, biography, I guess. But a biography is about one person. Is it still a biography if it's about a group? Is there a Jackson 5 biography? I don't think The Last Front was a one for one for people's experiences. Although at one point there is June does speak to someone who's like uncle or something. Someone was like actually in the Chinese labor corps. And yes, that's his life, but I don't think it was meant to like be a biography, be factual. Yeah, it's not meant to be factual, but lends itself to a historical setting and time period where it's like it's kind of it's not like Bridgerton, but in the way where Bridgerton lends itself to this time period, but it's very much fiction. And that's what I'm trying to get at. I hope that was spoiler free because I'm really about to get into it now. And there I'm just going to talk about my experience reading it and what I think, and there will be spoilers from this point onward. So yeah, we're going to touch on June again. I hated June. I really did. And I it's just when she's talking about when she calls Asian quiz nose quiz nose, when she calls Asian cuisine disgusting, I was offended because I actually quite like Asian cuisine, like a lot. Like it's freaking delicious. So I was like, "What do you mean you don't like dumplings?" And then she makes a lot of generalizations about Asian women specifically. The point where it's a climax in the story where there's the fight is happening, and she's like going for the center of gravity. Asian women are so petite that I often thought that Athena could be kidnapped, basically something like that. And I was like, wow, that's racist. That sure is something. But yeah, when she said I voted for Biden, I was like, I know this person. This person who fakes being socially conscious. She's this type of white person that wants to be seen as all for diversity and equal opportunity, but she's deep down she's bitter that we're moving towards inclusivity, and she thinks that inclusivity means edging out white people. In the beginning, when June and Athena were hanging out in Athena's apartment, I honestly thought that this was gonna get a little, you know. I mean, it is June and her name is June, and I really thought we were gonna get a little, but like, you know what? I really at the end, when she goes nuts, she's like trying to tell Reed say like she'll write this counter narrative about what actually happened, and she says I'll play up the sapphicness more, and I was like, no, don't don't do that, because it's like, no, you're not the person to do that, because you don't even you didn't even I thought maybe June liked Athena like that, but now I'm like, I don't even want you with Athena like that. I mean, neither of them are explicitly in the novel, but it's just like, I thought it would be nice, if, but like, we don't touch, stay away, ew, brother, ugh, because June just has this way of running her mouth in circles that only make sense to her, and she's trying to come up with a reason for her actions, which are incredibly horrible. Real tea is that her and Athena aren't even friends. Everything we know about everybody in this world is through the lens of June, and June has no real connections with anybody. Kuang said that this novel is a horror story about loneliness in the industry, the publishing industry, and I think June is alone because she's a terrible person and nobody wants to actually have a relationship with her because she's selfish. She's awful. And at one point, she's having dinner with her mom after she leaves a mentoring session early because she's treating the students like, because they found out about the rumors of her stealing the last front from Athena, and she's with her mom. Her and her mom don't get along at all. And they're having another argument. And she goes on a rant about writing is everything. I'm nothing without writing. I want to be remembered. I'm going to make a mark. That was the one moment that I could understand June, because as a creative in film, I also want to like make my mark. I want people to see my work, and I want people to feel something. I want them to be moved by my stories. But I don't think I want it badly enough to steal someone else's work and pass it off as my own. That fulfillment would be false. Sure, they would attribute it to my name, but what they love is not mine. They don't love me. And at the end of the day, that would hurt more than not being recognized at all. This is a very meta story. It talks about Twitter back when Twitter was Twitter. At one point, March 2020 is mentioned. So I think this book takes place shortly before shutdown, or in a parallel universe where the shutdown never happened. Obviously, it's not like following the real life timeline of events. Yeah, Twitter is still Twitter. TikTok is also talked about, and in another one of June's freaking rants, She goes on to like talk about wanting Anna Kendrick to play her in a movie. And no tea, no shade to Anna. We love Pitch Perfect and its sequels, even if it did give us Ben Platt. But there's something about June wanting to be played by Anna Kendrick that kind of tells you all you need to know about her. Because we love her as Jessica in Twilight, but Anna Kendrick has she just plays annoying characters. I don't know what it is. I just don't like her characters, but I like her. But her characters are annoying. Yeah, this I hate June. I hate her so much. The climax. We're gonna talk about the climax. June is being haunted by Athena's ghost on Instagram, but it's really Candace who has hacked Athena's account. And Candace lures June out to the place where Athena likes to write, but it's actually a meaningful spot to June and Athena. June is like yelling into the air because she's in full on psychosis now. She's crazy. She's seeing ghosts everywhere. And she's like, I did it. I stole the manuscript. I stole Athena's words and published it as my own. And Candace comes out of the woodwork and she's like, has a recording of it, which I knew she would, whoever it was, when I didn't know it was Candace. I knew they were gonna have a recording, but like, why the hell would she confess? Why are you confessing into the air? Like, honestly, you could have gone down there to see who was with you, but why would you confess like that? Because it's over. What makes you think that if you confessed, that person would not be recording? Even if, for whatever reason, even if you did write the last front, and this was just a whole string of coincidences, why would you admit it? You're this deep into the why would you admit it? So that pissed me the off. And I don't want June to get away with this at all. I want Athena to get her justice. At the end of the day, the novel ends before we see the ultimate downfall of June. Like, yes, we see a little bit after she publishes Mother Witch because she stole that first paragraph. Like, duh, you're dumb. Why would you write word for word that first paragraph and not even change a damn thing? And she goes on to talking about how Candace's book will have her own narrative and I will write my own to counteract hers, so that way we're just both going down the drain. And it's like, we don't even actually get to see the true downfall of June. I, as hard as it is to be in her shoes as it's happening, I want to see her downfall. I want to see her become a pariah. I want to see her be hated by literary society. But I don't get to see any of that, and that left me unfulfilled as a reader. I also was unfulfilled by how much I came away with not knowing anything about publishing. I didn't know much about publishing as I was going into this book, and I really don't think I came away with anything about how the publishing world works. I think I would have liked a little bit more of an explanation, but maybe that's just because it's not my world. I mean, she touched my world a little bit when June was possibly looking into a production company to pick up her story. Other than that, I didn't really learn anything about the publishing industry. I also think it's mostly because like I'm not into book talk, I'm not into booktube, but if you are and you know what Goodreads is and how it works and how to leave a review and you like that, I think you might like this book. But like I said, this book wasn't bad, but being with June sucked. So overall, I think I would give this book like 3 stars. 3 out of 5, which isn't bad. Especially since I haven't really read a book since college. And that was about, oh my god, almost 2.5 years ago. But that's all I have to say about Yellowface. And I will see you guys in another video. Bye!